If your girlfriend can't make it to the cottage over the weekend, you've gotta cancel those plans, right? Right? No? Well, maybe it would make you the jerk. We've got a story on that coming up in just a bit. But first, am I the jerk for banning my wife's Disney divorce friends plugins from our house? My wife's friend Melissa, 49-year-old female, is staying with us for a few weeks while she sorts her life out. We have a large home and are very happy to have house guests. She's leaving her husband after 25 years of marriage because he wants to move to LA and work at Disneyland. This sounds like the plot of a bad sitcom, but I'm afraid it's real. Both she and her husband are equally culpable for their failure of the marriage, and really bring out the worst in one another. Their relationship has been in a state for as long as I've known them. The problem is, Melissa showed up with an arsenal of room scents and sprays and plugins. The smell, teenage girl with a side of forever chemicals out at Disneyland, has completely taken over the hallway, the family bathroom, my office, and even down 2 flights of stairs into the foyer drawing room and living room. It's strong, it's nasty, and it's made of and smells like of all the chemicals that we avoid. Sidebar, we've been cleansing ourselves of chemical nasties, and have curated our home to smell clean and subtle. It's part of what makes it feel like home. Now it just smells like teen spirit. Melissa is genuinely lovely and in a vulnerable spot, and I don't want to make her feel unwelcome. But it's our house, and this is something we've been intentional about. However, outside of our personal feelings about plugins, it feels really out there to rock up in someone else's home and decide to bring your own plugin scents to totally change the smell of the house. I mentioned how strong the smell was, assuming it was a room spray, and how it was overtaking every room. She said, "Yeah, the plugins are really strong." I was so shocked I asked her to remove them. I opened up with a sensitive ask. "Hey, those room sprays are pretty strong. Would you mind keeping the door closed if you're using them?" And spiraled a bit when I heard her say plugins, plural. My wife told me I was being a jerk for making her uncomfortable when she's going through a lot. That I could bench to her about it was over the line to ask her to stop. I was incredulous that she thought it was okay to change the scent of our house. Am I the jerk here? Like my wife says, I feel pretty justified in my complaint. Edit. To address the frequently asked questions. The plugins are already gone. The conversation pivoted from, "Could you please keep the door closed when you spray the room?" to, "Can you please remove the plugins?" She apologized and removed them immediately. I also spotted after writing this post that the intake vent for the central air was about 12 feet from where one of the plugins was. This explains how the whole house got gunked up so quickly. The smell still isn't gone 24 hours later. In the part of the conversation where the plugins were revealed, my wife informs me that my facial expressions were all over the place, a mix of shock and disgust. I maintained a friendly but firm tone when I asked her to remove them, explained my reasoning clearly. I capped the conversation by saying I hated the smell of them, which was unkind and deeply unhelpful. In my defense, genuinely I do hate the smell, and I was so thoroughly flabbergasted that an adult would think it's okay to do that, I made an unguarded comment. "OP, I don't think that you're overstepping or out of pocket for asking her to remove these plugins. I mean, a smell, it's something that's involuntary, right? And it's something that people are going to be affected by whether they want to or not. And being that it's your home, I get it. I get that she's going through a lot, but that doesn't necessarily excuse her from plugging these things in. So I'm going to go with not the jerk. Sindil Fendal commented, "Not the jerk, and also, most likely if she's using the ones from Disney, they may be Scentsy, who partners with them. And it's an MLM as well. Tread carefully, especially if your wife is trying to bend over backwards to help her. She may try to get your wife selling by using her situation as a way to help her." Also, hey everybody, my name is Brendan, and if you guys enjoy these Am I the Jerk videos, it'd be amazing if you liked the video. Comment it down below if you're listening to our podcast. Now then, our next story is, am I the jerk for refusing to babysit my sister's kid even though I have the time? My sister, 27-year-old female, has a 2-year-old daughter. She loves her kid, but she acts like the whole world should rearrange itself around her because she's a mom. I don't have kids, don't want them right now, and I live alone in a tiny apartment. My peace and quiet are all I really have. 2 months ago, she asked if I could help out sometimes with babysitting. I said yes, thinking she meant emergencies. Instead, it turned into her dropping her kid off several times a week, often without asking. She'll text, "Heading your way, thanks," and just show up. At first, I went along with it, but it's become overwhelming. My place isn't child-proofed, and I don't feel comfortable constantly chasing someone else's toddler. My grades are slipping because I'm spending hours I don't have running after a kid. The breaking point was last weekend. I had a huge assignment due. Sunday morning, she showed up unannounced saying she needed a break. I told her I couldn't, but she literally dropped her daughter's diaper bag in my hallway, kissed her goodbye, and left before I could stop her. I was shaking with anger. But I didn't want to scare my niece, so I just dealt with it. I ended up pulling an all-nighter to finish my work. When I confronted her, she acted like I'm the selfish one. She said, "You don't even have a real job or responsibilities. I'm a single mom. I need support. You're her aunt." I snapped and said, being her sister doesn't make me her free nanny, and my time matters too. She cried, saying I don't understand how hard motherhood is and that she has nobody else. Now my mom is involved in taking her side. She told me my family is supposed to help, and I should be grateful my sister trusts me. She even said, quote, "If you don't want to be a part of your niece's life, just say it." That broke my heart. I do love my niece, but this isn't the way. I know my sister is struggling. She works full-time, she barely sleeps, and her ex isn't supportive. I get that, but I'm drowning too, just in a different way. I don't think it's fair that because I don't have kids, my time means nothing. So now I'm questioning myself. Am I the jerk for setting boundaries when she clearly needs help, or is she taking advantage of me and using guilt to keep me in line? I definitely think that there's a component of gaslighting here. OP, you don't really owe your sister anything, as terrible as that sounds to say. And the fact that she's like showing up unannounced and just like dumping the kid off and not clearing it with you first, I think that's incredibly inconsiderate. It sounds like, you definitely have compassion towards the situation. It's something that needs to be talked out and worked out, or you're just going to grow to resent the entire situation more and more and more. As time goes on, it's not fair to the kid, but no, I'm going to go not the jerk here. Dole Want to Know 6417 replied, "Boundaries. Tell them your time isn't available for her to use at will. Babysitting should be agreed upon X days in advance, and maximum 3 times a month. You'll be available for emergencies. That means medical emergencies. If she forgot she had a hair appointment, too bad, not your problem. Do not fall for her manipulation. She'll still want you to babysit these 3 times max a month, as it's more than nothing. And if she clearly needs help, she'll have to turn to other people, family, friends on both her and the father's side. Not the jerk. Protect yourself. Also, I told her I couldn't, but she literally dropped her daughter's diaper bag in my hallway, kissed her goodbye, and left before I could stop her. Yes, you can stop her. Call her, text her, let her know that if she doesn't pick her daughter within 5 minutes, you'll call CPS and the cops for child abandonment. Your sister has no respect for you whatsoever." Our next story is, am I the jerk for putting my hand over my sister-in-law's camera at my own birthday dinner after I told her no filming? I, 29-year-old female, had a small birthday dinner last weekend with my husband, 31-year-old male, sister-in-law, Lena, 27-year-old female, mother-in-law, and 2 friends at a normal but nice place. Lena's an influencer. She films literally everything. Plates, forks, people breathing. 3 days before, I wrote in the family chat, "Please don't film me. Food, room is fine, just not my face." She said, "Got you." We sit down, and within like 10 minutes, her phone is up. I say, "Quiet, please don't point it at me." She goes, "You look great, it's just vibes." Husband backs me. She said no. Lena rolls her eyes, lowers it for maybe 2 minutes. Then the cake comes, little sparkler, staff singing. Lena stands and points the camera right in my face. "Birthday girl reveal." I put my hand over the lens and said, "Stop." I didn't grab the phone or touch her, just covered the camera for a second. She snaps that I ruined her shot, and this is her job. Mother-in-law says to let it go for one night. I said that it's my night, actually. It got awkward fast. The server was right there, and I felt embarrassed. Husband tried to change the subject, but Lena kept muttering about how she had to scrap everything. I even paid for my own dessert. Long story, and we left pretty quick. Next morning, Lena texts me that I humiliated her and made her look unprofessional in front of everyone. Mother-in-law says I should have moved seats if I didn't want to be in frame. Husband says my boundary is fair, but maybe I made a scene by doing it during the song when eyes were already on me. She's posted me before without asking, and coworkers mentioned it. I've asked her to blur or remove, and it turns into drama, which is why I set the boundary in writing before dinner. why I might be the jerk. In public place, I did physically block her shot, and yeah, it was during the song. I could have stood up and turned away or something, but also, I don't want to be online against my will, especially on my own birthday. I don't know, am I the jerk? You asked her not to do it, she did it anyway, so no, not the jerk. It's really simple as that, the other context doesn't matter. Olivia Moreau commented, not the jerk. If she wants to look professional in public, she should act like a professional in public. A professional respects other people, their space, and their privacy. A professional knows how to separate their job and their personal life when needed. A professional isn't so desperate for content that she'll railroad other people's comfort wishes. Is she really 27 or is she 17? You're not a part of her job. She doesn't get to commandeer you as a prop for her videos, and she doesn't get to seize control over your own goddamn birthday event for it either. Our next story is, am I the jerk for not letting my boyfriend use my credit card to buy his Comic-Con pass? I, 24-year-old female, have been with my boyfriend, 25-year-old male, for 2 years. When we started dating, he only had 2 in-car sessions left before he could take his driving test. He was also waiting to get a corporate job before getting a credit card. But after finding out I had a credit card and a driver's license, he just stopped trying to get either. Even after getting a good corporate job, he only uses his debit card, occasionally borrows his mom's credit card, or asks to use mine. I say no 90% of the time unless it's urgent. I'm also the only one who's driven us to dates or events for the past 2 years. I've brought up how important it is to build credit or get his license, but he always gets defensive and says I'm nagging or being controlling. He insists they're not promises right now, and he'll get them when he feels it's time. Last month, Comic-Con took place in our city. We talked about going because an actor we love was attending. I bought my pass early. A few days before the event, while I was out of town, he texted me asking to use my credit card to buy his pass. I was so done at this point and told him no, then put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Later that night, I saw that he spammed my phone, saying that it was the last day to buy online, and now he'd have to get in line at the venue. I reminded him, again, that this could have been avoided if he had his own credit card. He didn't say anything after. On the day of the con, there were way more people than expected. He waited in line for 2 hours, but he gave up and called me while I was buying lunch so we could at least have lunch and say goodbye. After lunch, I dropped him at the subway and went back to enjoy the con with friends. I called him when I got home to ask about his day. When he asked about mine, I told him about the con. He asked, "Wait, you still went?" I said, "Of course, I bought a pass." He then blew up, saying it was my fault he didn't go, that I was selfish for not lending him my card, and if I really loved him, I would have ditched the con to be with him or at least driven him home. I told him he was being stupid AF and I deserved to go since I paid. He hung up. We spoke the next morning and apologized to each other, but a month later, he still occasionally brings up how upset he was that day. Part of me wonders if I could have avoided the drama by just letting him use my card, but another part is just so done. Am I the jerk for not just lending him my card? Edit. Please see my comment for more info. I'm gonna go with not the jerk here. This guy needs to grow up. You've kind of admonished him on that, and until you put your foot down, he's gonna continue to take advantage. So, good for you for pushing back. He has no right to be mad. Bubbly Chicken 9358 replied, "Sis, no, this man is not ready to drive himself places. He's not ready to handle his finances. He's not ready for a relationship. Not the jerk for refusing him the credit card. He couldn't use his debit card? He doesn't know how to buy a prepaid Visa? Jerk to yourself if you keep putting up with this when there are roughly 725 million men in the world in their 20s. Anayam CD replied, "I was wondering this myself. I've used a debit card to do everything except making hotel and plane reservations. Hotels, at least, want to ensure they have a number to charge in case of things like room service or damages. Events will usually take any form of payment from cash on up." Our next story is, am I the jerk for saying a friend shouldn't come on a group trip because she doesn't have enough money? We're just in the early stages of planning this trip now, but it's supposed to be an almost week-long girls' trip. There are 6 of us who would go, but the problem is that one of the girls, let's call her B, doesn't quite have the budget for the trip. She can afford the flight and hotel room, so it's not like she literally can't pay for the actual trip itself. But because her overall budget is lower than everyone else's, she's not going to be able to afford all the activities I and the rest of the group want to do. When I've tried to kind of hint to her that maybe she should reevaluate going because of money concerns, she's brushed it off. But based on past experience, I know once we get there, she's going to start saying stuff like, "Oh my gosh, guys, the restaurant is so expensive. What if we just went to that cute food truck we drove past earlier?" And even though the cute food truck does end up having good food, sometimes you just want to go to a fancy dinner. Eventually, I said this to her straight up, and she got mad because she technically can pay for it, the actual trip, like flights and hotel, but I feel like she's going to be dragging the rest of us down by making us obligated to only do things she can also afford. This is a tricky one because I genuinely see both sides. Like, I totally do get where she's coming from, and I actually have no clue if I'm in the right or wrong. So, am I the jerk? No, I mean, if she wants to come along and she's a friend of yours, let her come along. I do think that you need to establish boundaries up front, like, hey, I'm not going to pay for any of your stuff, and, kind of put the ball in her court to figure it out. But no, if she can't afford certain things, you don't necessarily have to bend to accommodate her. So, not the jerk. I do think that you definitely shouldn't kick her off the trip, though. Ginse Bush replied, "I'm not sure if anyone's a jerk yet. All 6 of you need to sit down and set out your expectations, and it's okay to tell your friend if the majority wants to do an activity or go to a restaurant and she can't afford it, she's not obliged to go, but you're all not going to adjust your plans to accommodate her budget. A little communication up front goes a long way. She may not like no one cares to eat the cute little food truck, but at least she knows up front the plans will not be catered to her budget." Savings Breath 9118 replied, "I think it's warranting a wider conversation with everyone. I agree. If you can decide that sometimes you might want to go for a fancy dinner with some of the group, and that would be okay, and you really believe that it might work out. But I've found that there's one person dragging down the group because of cost issues. That's not going to change." Our next story is, "Am I the jerk for not changing my daughter's wedding venue even though my sister's husband proposed to his 22-year-old mistress there last month? I, 51-year-old female, put down a $20,000 non-refundable deposit on this gorgeous beachfront estate for my daughter. Let's call her Amy's, 26-year-old female, wedding next September. We booked it 18 months out. For context, and without revealing too much, it's the venue in our area. And it's been Amy's dream wedding spot in all of her Pinterest boards. Last month, my sister, let's call her Carol, 53-year-old female, found out her cheating ex-husband, let's call him Mark, 55-year-old male, proposed to his coworker, 28-year-old female. She was 22 when they started having an affair, who he had been having an affair with. The woman posted engagement photos from the same venue, specifically the beautiful beach area where Amy plans to have her ceremony. Carol is obviously destroyed. She called me sobbing, begging me to change venues. Says she can't watch Amy get married where Mark proposed to a girl younger than his own daughter. Can't smile for photos on that beach. I feel sick for her. I do, but $20K non-refundable deposit. Save the dates already sent. Amy's dreamed of this venue since high school. Everything else is booked for 3 times the price. I told Carol I can't lose $20K and crush Amy's dreams because Mark is trash. Carol says I'm choosing money over her mental health, that I'm forcing her to relive the worst betrayal of her life for pretty pictures. I also talked to Amy about it, and she does not want a venue change. That it's not her fault Mark, who had been out of all of our lives for the last 5 years, ruined that place for Carol. Carol called Amy a, quote, spoiled brat who wouldn't understand real pain. Now Carol's skipping Thanksgiving. My and Carol's side of the family, her daughters, and to some extent my parents, says I'm heartless. The place is cursed anyway. Why should we host Amy's big day there? My husband's side of the family says Carol doesn't get to hijack Amy's wedding because her husband's a cheater. Am I the jerk for not switching venues? No, I don't think so, for one reason alone. The bride doesn't want to switch venues. Anyone that doesn't want to come isn't obligated to. So, yeah, yank that invitation. Or leave the invitation out there and just put the ball in their court. But no, not the jerk. Current Photo 2857 replied, "Info, just to be clear on the timeline here. You say Mark is the ex-husband, and he has been out of all our lives for the past 5 years. So they divorced 5 years ago? Mark proposed just last month? Sorry, Carol, but if you've been divorced for 5 years, you need to not give a freak what he's doing now. Why was Carol even checking the mistress's posts?" Our next story is, Am I the jerk for talking about there being new people in my dance class? I, 41-year-old female, regularly take an adult dance class in my neighborhood. I've been taking it for years and grown a lot as a dancer. It's labeled as beginner/intermediate, but the description says you're welcome to join wherever you are on your dance journey, and the teacher does a good job of breaking things down for newbies. There's a core group of 4 or 5 of us who go every single week and have been going for years. Last class, there were 4 new people I didn't recognize. One of the new women was sitting next to me before class started, and I was chatting with another fellow regular about how there's lots of new faces, and more people must be wanting to try something new and join the class, or maybe the word has spread. My friend made a comment about how the class does say it's open to everyone, even though we're more of an intermediate level. I guess the new woman was listening to our conversation. When the class started, I made a remark along the lines of, "Wow, lots of newbies here today." Since it's out of the ordinary to have more than 1 or 2 new people in class, I thought nothing of it, just pointing out something unique. Yesterday, when I checked in at the front desk for a different class, the studio manager pulled me aside and said that another client had complained about me making them feel unwelcome in class and implying new people weren't welcome to join. The woman sitting near us was struggling to keep up in the class and maybe felt self-conscious, so I'm assuming she's the one who complained about me. I have no idea how they got this message. Is there some unspoken double meaning behind pointing out that there are lots of new people in the room? Am I the jerk for this? Lucifer Complex replied, "You are the jerk. You literally made an effort to mention the new people, but not engage with them. You sound like a mean girl with a clique. Who cares how long you and others have been going to this class? It's listed as a beginner class, and people need to begin somewhere." Our next story is, am I the jerk for snapping at my neighbor after she kept trying to make me her free maid babysitter and pet sitter all in one? So this lady next door has been slowly pushing it. At first it was like, "Can you grab my mail since you're already walking by?" Fine, whatever. Then it turned into her leaving her dog leash in my hand once and just walking away like I was automatically gonna pet sit while she ran inside. Another time, she asked if I could just watch her kid for 15 minutes while she ran errands, and it turned into over an hour. I finally snapped when she tried to dump a whole list on me, like feed her cat, water her plants, and maybe watch her kid all at once because she's so busy. I told her I'm not her maid or her sitter, and she needs to stop acting like I'm on call for her. She went off about how I'm a terrible neighbor, and now she's gossiping with the lady across the street about me. Even my mom said I could have been nicer, but I honestly don't think I was wrong. Am I the jerk? Edit. Wow, this kind of blew up. Thank you so much to everyone who commented. I was honestly second-guessing myself, but reading through made me realize I'm not crazy. A lot of people said it's about boundaries, and yeah, that's true, to be honest. She just kept inching further every time I said yes to small stuff. To clear up a couple things, I never agreed to be her sitter. She just sort of shoved stuff in my lap. Like with the dog leash thing, she literally walked off before I could even say anything. And with the 15-minute kid watch, I was stuck over an hour. Couldn't even leave because I didn't want to abandon the kid. Anyway, I'm not going to engage with her drama or gossip. I'll just keep it polite but firm. Lesson learned. Say no earlier. I appreciate you all tons. Yeah, you're not the jerk. I mean, we're talking about a neighbor here, like not even family member. You don't know her anything. Not the jerk. Simple as that. Appropriate Reach 7854 replied, "Not the jerk. That lady saw a chill neighbor and thought free labor. You set a boundary after she pushed way past reasonable. That's not rude. That's survival." Our next story is, am I the jerk for not canceling plans to be there for the birth of a friend's baby? So I, 27-year-old female, reconnected with a childhood acquaintance, 29-year-old female, recently when she moved to my city. My dad and her mom used to work together. We weren't close growing up, but when she moved to my city around 5 months pregnant, she reached out. I know how lonely it can be to move somewhere new, so I agreed to hang out and tried to help her settle in. When I moved here, I didn't know anyone either, and now I'm the only one she knows. At first, it was fine. I did little things, like I drove her to look at apartments. She didn't have a car, helped her run errands, and my dad even built her furniture when she got an apartment. My dad came to visit me for the weekend, and we spent it helping her settle in. She has no support system. The baby's dad is out of the picture, and she's unemployed. And not sure how she's funding everything. I genuinely wanted to be kind and supportive. I even introduced her to some of my friends, and she was so rude to them and then wouldn't stop talking poorly about them. But then things escalated. She started demanding I go with her everywhere. Doctor's appointments, grocery shopping, even to do nails. She started jokingly calling the baby our baby because I've been around so much. She'll say things like, "Our baby is craving fries from McDonald's," and beg me to get them for her. She even offers to pay me. She refuses to use meal delivery apps because she doesn't trust that they won't do something to the food. She says, "This has been going on for months. Fast forward, I'm a bridesmaid in my best friend's wedding and flying home, Puerto Rico, for 4 weeks to help with the shower, rehearsal, wedding, and even organizing her closet in her husband's apartment while she's on her honeymoon. They don't live together until after the wedding. When my acquaintance came over and saw me packing, she lost it. She said I never told her about my trip. She said she was counting on me to be there for the birth, which will definitely happen while I'm away. I leave tomorrow and she's ready to pop any minute. And even expected me to move in with her for the first month after the baby was born to help out, since I have nanny experience. She told me she was planning on me watching the baby on the days I work from home, 2 days of the week. I told her I wasn't canceling my flight or shortening my trip, and now she's furious, saying I'm abandoning her and the baby, that I'm all they have. She's posting about me on social media saying I betrayed her. Her mom, who lives in our state, just 4.5 hours away, is commenting and encouraging her. I told my mother about this, and she also said I was a bad friend to leave her and her baby when they need me, that she agrees moving in is a lot, but I should be there during birth, only travel for the wedding, and then come back to help with meals, etc., and told me she won't be picking me up at the airport tomorrow because she knows I'll do the right thing. So, am I the jerk? Once again, this is like the, third or fourth story today we've read about, like, gaslighting and people feeling entitled, and no, you're not the jerk. You don't owe her anything. She's making all these plans without consulting her, so no, not the jerk. Bubbly Chicken 9358 replied, "What kind of fatal attraction gaslighting nonsense is this? No, you're not the jerk. You did not agree to be this woman's life partner. You did not agree to be her live-in nanny for the first month. You did not agree to share this baby with her. I mean, do you really even consider her a friend? You're under no obligation to do anything for this woman, and it's absolutely insane that she and your mother seem to think the fact that you have helped her out in the past somehow makes her entitled to more help from you in the future. This is bizarre, and it's even more bizarre than both your moms are supporting this insanity. Not the jerk, just to reiterate. Our next story is, am I the jerk for wanting to cancel weekend plans to my cottage because my girlfriend can't make it? We, my girlfriend, 24-year-old female, and I, 26-year-old male, made plans about 2 months ago to invite 7 of our friends to my family cottage for the weekend. It's a shared cottage with a lot of family going back 4 generations, so really hard to book a weekend on our little Google Calendar unless it's at least 2 months in advance. I worked an extra shift this week to be able to take Saturday off, as I normally work Saturdays. We're currently Thursday evening, and my girlfriend just let me know that she can't make it this weekend because she has to work both Saturday evening and Sunday morning. I didn't think anything of it, thinking she would just not be coming. She immediately got mad as she was expecting me to cancel this weekend just because she can't make it. Her justification is that she does a lot for me, which she does, and that I should do this for her. I would drop anything to help her or be with her if she needed me, but she's just working. I find it selfish, and I don't understand why she doesn't want me to go. Yeah, not the jerk. Just because she can't go, you're supposed to be miserable too? Like, come on. No, not the jerk. Jersey Girl 2468 replied, "Not the jerk. So you're supposed to do what? Sit at home and do nothing while she's working? It's unfortunate she can't go, but there's no reason for you to cancel for yourself and 7 other people who have all made these plans." All right, everybody, that is all the time we got for today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and comment down below. And if you want to check out any of our other videos, click the video on the right. I got nothing else for you. I will see you all next time.